elbow's close range weapon, so I have to be close to land this or use my feet to get in. For now, we're not gonna clinch, we're just gonna be in close range. Straight across, like I'm chopping him in half. A horizontal elbow, I wanna be here. It's easy for him to block. If I'm throwing something horizontal and his forearms are vertical, it's easy for him to block and catch. When I'm elbowing, I'll show you on this one, because you can see that scar. I'm not trying to elbow with the tip or the point of the elbow. I don't care about that. I don't care about cutting. The elbow is a hard body part anyway, so it's gonna do damage no matter what. I'm trying to hit with these 3 inches right here. The other reason I don't care about cutting is that if I'm focused on the tip of my elbow, I might miss and now I'm over rotated. I'm just trying to use basically my forearm to smash through. If I can add some torque to it and pivot, even better. He's a little bit taller than me. My horizontal elbow is not gonna cut it. If I wanna do damage, that's all good. That's all well and good. We'll get into those. I'm essentially gonna have to go from 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock and come up. Knowing who you're fighting and who your opponent is and who your training partners are, you're gonna have to switch up your elbows. So this is gonna be more advantageous for him because my head is about his shoulder level and his elbow is right about my eye level. So if I wanna block, I don't have to do much. I can just sit here and shell up. But again, both of us are barehanded right now, so if we're doing warfare or street stuff, I need to be super careful. If I've got the gloves on, I've got a little bit more advantage, I've got more cushion. Danger being, I might be covering and blocking some of my vision. So right now, I'm still okay right here. Okay, I'm just shelling up. Maybe I return one of my own right after, right? I can return same side, that's fine. Old style, I'm gonna catch and pass. So again, bare hands, I'm gonna catch first, so I'm cupping my hand and waiting for that elbow. I'm trying to intercept it. Go ahead again. Yep. Now if he throws a little bit more power, this isn't really going to stop him too much because my wrist is taking a lot of the pressure. If I block with my forearm, I'm still okay. If I lock the heel of my palm to my eyebrow, I'm still good. Now, if that comes away from my face, I've got to brace my body a little bit more and I might end up hitting myself in the face anyway. But when I'm going with the hand, I'm going to catch, but I'm also going to pass. Go again. So catching, yep, catch. I want to pass. And when I pass, I want to send my own. So slow motion, I'm here. I've got him to over rotate a little bit. So now the option's mine. He's a little bit taller, so I may not go that route. But if I get him to go over, depends on how well I pass. The ear's open to me, right? But it doesn't matter. That still sucks. So that's one way you can deal with it old style is catch, pass. It's gonna be pretty hard to do that with gloves. And if you've already got the gloves on and you're doing ring style, blocking here is fine. Boom, I could come back with my own. So now an elbow that'll work better for me and my height against a taller person, I'm gonna be throwing a vertical elbow or an up elbow. This is gonna work for me a little bit better because I'm underneath him already. His hands are relaxed right now, but otherwise the rest of his body in normal stance, chin tucked, eyes up. I'm gonna be popping up here. So if he's guarding vertically, I'll show you on this side because it's gonna be a little bit easier. The guard's already open, technically, if I wanna throw that up elbow. I just have to step in. And he can block by doing somewhat of a cross block and catch it that way. Because if I'm throwing vertically and he's blocking horizontally, he can catch it. The opposite of what we were just doing with the horizontal elbow. If I throw a horizontal elbow, all he has to do is stay vertical. He's blocking, either side, blocking. The right, I'm gonna have to step in a little bit and get off the line. I need to clear this arm, because otherwise if I just throw it from here, I'm just running into him. And right now, remember, we're just throwing the elbows for elbow's sake. You're not gonna land these naked most of the time, so we'll get into setups a little bit later. So I'm stepping in, I have to get close. And I'm not necessarily driving up with my body on this right now. I'm just driving up with my arm. So I'm committing my body, but I'm just propelling it forward. Elbow's coming up. If I do want to come up with force, I might sit a little bit lower and then use my legs to come up. Most of us are sitting in a tie stance already. We're already pretty tall, usually. So if he sees me duck down to come up, he's probably gonna know something's up and back off. If my normal stance is here, I can just pop, come up inside. But if he sees me dip down, he might back up. Right, so I gave it away. I telegraphed my shot. off the principles of the horizontal elbow, he's gonna throw the same thing. Right now I'm gonna have him throw a down elbow with his right. It'll be a 1 to 7 elbow for him. So if he's got the clock in front of him, it's 1 to 7. Like I said, it's gonna work better for him because he's already taller than me. So it depends on how high my lead hand is and how active it is, and if he set something up already. So for now, my hands are down. He's gonna throw 1 to 7. It's gonna come right over the eyebrow. Boom. Now, even with the guard up, he just has to split over the top, right? I'm gonna throw one that's more advantageous for me right now. They're suited for my height and the angles I like to use. So for me, my angle on the clock is gonna be 7 to 1. Where he was coming 1 to 7, I'm coming 7 to 1. Again, I'm just doing that because if I try and do this with my right, it's against his lead hand, and it's gonna be hard for me to cut inside. I'm gonna have to make a move first and then come up. Here, as far as defense goes, I can keep this here, but if I know he likes throwing elbows too, I'm bringing this across just in case he tries to throw his 1 to 7 on me at the same time. Essentially, almost the same as the vertical. I just changed the angle a little bit. Now, if he throws his right elbow at the same time over the top, and I don't have my guard up, he's probably gonna win because he's got a block, and he's longer, and he's over the top. So if I'm blocking here and I glue this here, he's gonna win that exchange. So if I still wanna land that elbow, but I want some protection as I go in, I'm gonna have to come up here. So he's throwing his at the same time, and incidentally, he's blocking me at the same time, right? Because I'm throwing up, and he's coming over the top, but his forearm's in my way now. But that doesn't mean I can't swim and go in on what we did last week, right? So the elbows will flow. And that's the beauty of old style, is elbows flow together. The other thing, hands should be relaxed when you're throwing elbows. You're gonna expose your bone more when your hand's relaxed. If you flex up and squeeze as hard as you can like you're punching, your muscle's gonna cover your bone. I'd rather hit with the bone to a soft body part if I can. We're gonna go over the horn and the helmet, which were the first defensive/offensive things I was taught when I first started. So the horn is essentially a full cover block, a high cover block. Let's say Jacob's throwing a right hook for video's sake. I'm gonna leave my other hand relaxed so you can see. Go again. So he's throwing the right hook. I don't know where it's gonna land, but I want ultimate protection on this side. Let's show from this side, left hook. A couple things are happening. I'm combing my hair. I'm grabbing the back of my head, and I'm pressing my bicep to my cheek if I can, because that's full protection. So I'm also incidentally pointing my elbow directly at my target. So back of the head's protected. Again. I can grab my neck if I want. Maybe he threw an overhand. I can still kind of get this cover up. So I opened up my arm a little bit, but the protection is still the same. The movement is still the same. So instead of being here, he can still clip me on the top, right? As opposed to pillar blocking here, where my arm is vertical. There's still some holes back there. He can reach the back of my jaw if he really wanted to. He can sneak through. If he's got bare hands or he's got MMA gloves on, he can sneak through. So pillar block's great if I want to return, but right now I'm thinking full protection. That's my horn. Here's my other defense right here. He throws the other hook. I got a horn right here. I do both at the same time. This is a purely self-defense thing. I'm going to the helmet. So it's basically two horns put together. It's an oh shit moment, and I don't want to live there. In the beginning, especially with when we used to teach women self-defense, I go over the helmet. At the very least, if they don't know anything about fighting and somebody's trying to hit them, either hand, just put both up so you have something there. The horn is designed for this. One more time. So that's my elbow. Some people call that a spear elbow. I don't, not from the school I learned that, but we'll get into what I call a spear elbow. I'm not reaching either. Okay? It might hurt him if I spike him perfectly, but if he is way more powerful than me and go good, I'm just gonna end up hitting myself in the face with my own arm. So I wanna keep it tight, go again. And I'm trying to lean into it if I'm just playing defense. Do I want offense on that? I wanna aim for his chest, his shoulder, whatever. It's all gonna suck there. Again, hard body part, soft body part. Horn on this side. Same thing, but I'm using my legs and my feet to move in. I can't just lean forward and go. I love this one for the street because 9 times out of 10, what's the most common street punch? overhand right. Okay, most people are right-handed. They want to end it in one shot. They're gonna throw the biggest, heaviest thing they can think of. So right now I'm being nice, but if I was going hard, I want to run in as hard as I fucking can. Once I'm here, you're good. What do you have? You have that vertical elbow that you had before. You have a clinch on this side if you want. I can land that elbow, I have a clinch on this side. I've got inside control of this bicep. I've got my knee. I got everything we did last week. I got headbutts. I've got my clinch right away. I can just automatically go to it. I prefer this because it gives me control for my next elbow. That's why I like the old style elbows better. They flow a little bit better. There's a lot more commitment in the old style and obviously in the street as well. To me, there's a big distinction between a spear elbow, a tomahawk elbow, and a 12-6 elbow. So a spear for me, most people are gonna envision this as you're driving through. If anything, to me, this is more lance. It's like if I held out my jab, I just went straight forward. My weapon's fixed. And I drove straight forward. I'm imagining throwing a spear. My arc isn't crazy on it. I'm imagining like I'm throwing a spear through him, but I'm not coming way over the top. Now if I'm throwing a tomahawk, I'm coming a little bit more over the top. For me, I'm going up a little bit further now. Spear was here, tomahawk's here. My 12-6. So with the spear and the tomahawk, I am trying to hit with the tip of my elbow on that one because the angle is different. He's reaching for my teep and I can kind of do a tie hop in. That's enough to get me in. Then I can follow with the other ones if I want. But the tomahawk, I'm coming a little bit higher, but I would set it up same way. He's reaching. And I'm trying to get over his guard if it's still up. The spear, I'm throwing it if I know his arm's down. The 12-6, I'm jumping. I have to jump with him, he's too tall. 12-6, I'm trying to land on the top of his head or the shoulder. Those are the best places for me. I'm internally rotating my shoulder. So my palm is ending up facing outward. And when I come down, I'm pulling it back in and I'm coming straight down. And when you're aiming for the shoulder, I'm trying to aim for the trap. Okay, so we covered 12-6, let's do 6-12. Essentially, I'm landing this elbow, reverse of what we just did. He's not gonna let me come in here, get this close, and just come up like that. I have to set it up. And for me, doesn't matter who it is, if it's taller or shorter, it doesn't matter. But for me, I'm a big body jabber. I like to touch, get low. And when they think I'm going low again, that's when I step in a little bit deeper. I only do one spinning elbow, and I like to set it up like this. Jab, jab. I jab offline on purpose, but as I do, I step outside his lead foot. That way I can turn and spin. I like jabbing towards the head, and then starting to jab offline, so he thinks he's safe or he thinks he's blocking it. And once he's comfortable with that, step off, commit. Definitely for MMA. I got the single, I have it locked, but he's cross-facing me. But I know that his hand's here, right? So I know that that's open.